comrades, and welcome to an Eastern Bloc version of Diecast Restos. For today, we feature East Germany's finest automotive creation, the glorious Trabant 601. This recreation is a Maisto casting of the Soviet-era relic. A former owner looks to have broken rank and painted his Trabbi in frivolous gold, but with little success. In all seriousness, this is an excellent, fun, well-built and unique 1990s casting that helps to celebrate the car's existence rather than ridicule or redact it from history. Here is my inspiration for today's custom build. Many in the former East Germany believe green Trabants, known affectionately as Trabbis, as symbols of good luck. As such, mine will switch from yellow to a similar green to that photo from a few moments ago. The Trabant was built by VEB Sachsenring Automobilwerke Zwickau, based in the town of Zwickau in Saxony. The company began producing Trabant prototypes in 1954, and the first production vehicles are available in the East German market from 1958. The cars had a steel unibody frame with a Duraplast body fitted. Duraplast was a hard plastic made from recycled cotton waste from the Soviet Union, and phenol resins from the East German dye industry. The name Trabant emanates from the Middle High German word Trabant, meaning satellite or companion. Its name was inspired by the Soviet Sputnik satellite. Throughout their production, Trabants were plagued by poor reliability with their 500cc and later 600cc two-stroke engines. By the late 50s, cleaner, more efficient four-stroke engines were becoming the norm in Europe, but budget and raw material constraints saw the two-stroke Trabant engines continue on. The original 1958 P50 Trabant carried the 500cc engine, but 1964 saw the launch of the 601, which this model is based on, sporting the 600cc unit. The 601 had a minor facelift, and from 1964 until 1991, it remained almost completely unchanged, including the transverse engine layout and its independent suspension. Right now though, I'm preparing to lose the yellow and gold paint. The Trabant's designers expected production of the 601 to run until 1967 at the latest. They came up with numerous prototypes aimed at replacing it, each more sophisticated than the last. However, the East German government rejected all proposals due to shortages in raw materials. As a result, the design remained unchanged, while the labour-intensive production method also remained, resulting in appalling build quality. By the 1980s, the Trabbi still had no tachometer, fuel gauge, rear seat belts or external fuel door. Owners still had to pour a mix of fuel and oil directly into the engine. Despite the multitude of drawbacks, and helped by an extremely restricted domestic market, more than 3 million Trabants were produced. This was also despite the manufacturer being a state monopoly, and there were at times waiting lists of up to 13 years for a Trabant. Times also depended on the buyer's proximity to the capital Berlin. The choices were to either wait or buy one for almost double the price on the free market for a second-hand one. With the fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989, images of thousands of oppressed East Germans crossing the borders in their overloaded Trabants were broadcast across the globe. The car became a symbol of the era. That same year, the Trabant did see its first upgrade for 25 years. A licensed Volkswagen Polo 1-litre 4-stroke engine finally replaced the decrepit 2-stroke unit, following a trade deal between East and West Germany. It also had minor upgrades to its brakes, suspension, grille and signal lights. In 1991, production ceased and the Zwickau factory was sold to Volkswagen, and HQM Sachsenring continues to this day supplying parts to VW. After 34 years of production and much ridicule, the Trabbi was no more. Its cramped interior, uncomfortable ride, dull colour schemes and hugely polluting smoking engine made it the butt of many jokes for Germans, who called it the spark plug with a roof. However, it did gain a great deal of public affection later on. As the years have passed since the fall of the wall and the raising of the Iron Curtain, the Trabbi has become a collector's item, and many are used in road rallies today due to their simplicity. No longer is the Trabbi a symbol of an absurd system in an era of oppression, but as a symbol for the people who built it, having survived the difficulty of those times and ultimately prevailed. There's been far too much to talk about surrounding the history of the Trabant to even mention my build today, so I hope the images have been clear and concise within themselves. The Trabant is much more than a simple means of transport. It is a cultural institution. So at 6 minutes and 1 second, here is my Maisto Trabant 601 as it looked at the beginning of the video. Much alike the real car during the 80s and 90s in particular, this Trabbi had gone unloved. It was missing its paint in places and had been overpainted in gold marker in others. That had spread to the windows and the wheels too. So it's goodbye to the yellow and guten Tag to my lucky green restored Trabant. Sitting pretty in Rover Applejack green, I have treated this casting to a shiny new grille, headlights, front bumper, turn signals, and even went premium with chrome door handles. The wheels are M2 Machine Steelies from a Corvette, which look pretty authentic as bare essential rims. The back end had the indicators, brake lights and rear bumper detailed, while the window piece has been polished to remove imperfections that were present beneath the gold marker. The grille and lights also had a dose of Citadel to liven them up a bit. So this build has taken me on a bit of a journey, but I hope you've enjoyed this production. If you have, leave me a like and a comment. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and please consider supporting the channel via Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. I've put the original wheels back on at the end of the video, so stick around for that, but all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.